First things first, Joshua.
Yeah,
How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm alright, thanks.
Nice.
So before we get to your album,
Yeah.
1998, I'd like to jump back to the beginning a little bit.
hmm
Do you remember when you first kind of noticed that you had an attachment to music more than maybe other people did?
yeah, I think I do. Um, I think I was like 3 or 4, and I would like go up to my parents' rack of CDs and just take out CDs and just listen to them and really remember the words really quickly. And when I was 6, I started playing the piano and entertaining family members whenever
Okay.
we would have family visits and stuff. So that's I think the first time I really like my parents noticed, my foster parents noticed that okay, this kid got to do something with music,
Mm.
and yeah, that's how it started. That's the first memories I had, like piano classes. I think that here's a picture. I don't know if you can see it of one of my first piano classes I had, and yeah, those are some of the first memories that I really can recall. So yeah.
And especially early on, you say you took out records from your parents.
hmm
What were the records that stuck out for you? What were the ones that you
Um,
gravitated towards?
like not really that much, but it was like I just like hearing music.
Okay.
Because my parents listened to a lot of like typical Dutch music
Okay.
or K3 or something
Okay.
like the children's stuff. I think that's stuff that I really listened to at that age. Not really something that stuck with me, but I just like enjoyed music, just having it around, just having something to listen to dance to, and I think that's it. Yeah,
And then you start playing the piano.
yeah,
Did you like playing the piano?
yeah. I still do.
Okay.
I really liked it. Like at first, I started with classical piano. I didn't like that much, but it was a really good way to set a base and to become like more technically skilled at playing piano. And then when I was 10 or something, I moved to another piano school, and there I had this teacher who was a fan of rock music and pop music. So he let me play the Beatles and the Eagles and all like kind of old rock slash pop music, and I really enjoyed that. Like I played a lot of Michael Jackson too, and yeah, those are the things that I really enjoyed.
So a good mix of all kinds of music kind of early
Yeah,
on.
it's pretty broad. Like yeah, really starting off with just classical and then moving on to pop, and then later on I stopped going to a piano class, but I kept on playing myself and I wrote my own songs
Okay.
and I played like hip hop songs like Kanye West or yeah that those kind of songs, and that's yeah that's really my music. I really like hip hop, so that's
Mm.
when I really started to enjoy playing and felt more freedom and stuff.
Yeah, that's an interesting point because what did it do for you being able to play music to
Mm,
be to kind of get those
yeah.
things out?
Um, I don't know. It really set a base. Like when I started, I think I was 14 when I started making beats in the FL studio, and because of my piano background, I knew how to make melodies. I knew how chords worked. I knew a lot about like more the theoretical side of like the music theory, and that's what really helped me. Like really being able to just use my ears and know what I'm doing. Like, okay, so I can make chords, I make good melodies, I know how to make a bass layer. I think that's what really was convenient for me and what really helped me out the most by starting off with just playing the piano and then moving on to making digital music or electronic music. Started off with just making beats. Like I listened to a lot of like dance and EDM when I was 12, 13,
Okay.
14, 15. And so I made that music like Hardwell, I looked up to Martin Garrix and
Mm.
all those kinds of artists. And later on, like I already listened to a lot of people, but I didn't really know how to make it. So
Mm.
later on, I started making like trap music and um, using my voice came like I think last year or 1.5 years
Okay.
ago when I made Lock My Door. That was like the first song I made where my voice was really leading in the
Mm.
song. And yeah, before that, I didn't really. I worked with a lot of vocalists. Sometimes I would um, like think of some harmonies or
Mm.
like a second voice or ad libs or try ad libs myself or do a harmony myself. But Like My Door was like the first song where the voice was really leading and it was all about me singing and doing my verses.
Okay, we'll get to that transition
hmm
then a little bit later, but there's a couple of things, and now I'm not exactly sure whether I can trust what I read on the internet.
Yeah, yeah.
So just correct me if I'm wrong. But in an interview, I think with you and a friend of yours, it was mentioned that early on you made a lot of angry music.
Yeah, yeah. That's really my running gag that I
Okay.
have. It wasn't necessarily angry, but it was a little bit more aggressive, a little bit more energy, and like really the teenage fiery spirit into the music. That's what I was making when I was trap. I was making like pretty heavy EDM trap music,
Okay.
pretty heavy future bass. And then when I got a little bit older, I started to calm down a bit. It started to become more soulful and like musical and. Yeah, so yeah, I did, but it spiraled down pretty quickly, actually.
This is just your teenage years in the
Yeah,
sense.
yeah, I was really full of energy. I'm still full of energy, but like it was a different kind of energy.
But
So
what I find interesting about it is, in terms of producing music, in particular, how important is your mood or kind of the way, your emotional state as you are working on it?
it's really important. I think it's really leading, not necessarily always for how the song sounds, but it is really leading and important to the things I write about. And yeah, because I always write what's on my mind. Like at first when I made the album, I was really writing a lot because that's what were like my first experiences with doing my own vocals and writing my own lyrics. And now when I make music, I start to freestyle more, and then it really is like spontaneous, and then everything that's on your mind comes out. And yeah, so it's really leading. Like it comes out when I write too, but now when I freestyle, it's even more like I find out. Most of the times, I find out what the song is about after I made it, and I really process everything. And
Right.
yeah,
Because yeah, like you say, I think before you can start singing something, you
yeah,
need to write something down.
yeah.
So when did you already write more than a year ago?
I wrote some stuff. Like I had a song 10 a.m. on my Flowers EP. I had Worth It where I sing a little, but those vocals weren't really leading in the track. It was just like a break and then maybe do 8 bars or and sing a bit. So I wrote a little stuff, and sometimes with friends I would freestyle at parties or so, like stuff like that. But I really started to seriously write a lot when I after I made Lock My Door, because before I made Lock My Door, I was like not having inspiration for 3 months or something, and then when I made that song, it was like a whole burst of new energy and new inspiration because like making beats got me stuck a little. Then when I started singing, I was like, okay, I can use my voice now. I can do my own melodies. I can really talk about stuff, like express my feelings through lyrics and not only through sound. And yeah, that then I made like 100 songs in 3 months because
Right.
I don't know, something came up with me when I started singing. Like it was a whole new energy.
Because I can imagine. Well, let me ask quickly this before we go further. Is why didn't you consider using your voice before?
I don't know. I think I was shy.
Okay.
Like I found out that I could sing. I don't maybe 16 or 17, but I was too shy to actually do it. And then this one day, I was at the school, like Herman Brood Academy in Utrecht, and I was like complaining to a teacher of mine, like a VJ from Soul Searching. I was complaining to him about I don't know what vocalists I want to work with because they don't really match my sound. And he was like, "You have autotune, go sing yourself." And that was like in the first year of Herman Brood, and the course I did was 3 years. And then in the third year, I really got confident enough to sing by myself, and then later I got comfortable enough to sing on a stage, and so it developed. So it was on my mind, like the seeds were already planted, but I was myself. I wasn't really ready yet.
So your skills had to kind of
Yeah,
catch up with where your mind was.
yeah, and then I started working with a lot of vocalists on Herman Brood Academy, so that really helped me. I learned a lot from it, just looking at the vocalists and listening to what they did, how they write, what kind of flows they use, how they record themselves and stuff, how they vocally train themselves. So I think I had to learn a little bit more, and then I could apply it to my own music.
And then singing is one thing. When you read through kind of the words on the album, it's very personal.
Yeah, it really is.
So when you started writing those words down, was was there any hesitation or shyness about that?
I think not really, because I'm a shy person for myself, I can be kind of introverted, but when I make music, I'm really I just try to be open and honest because like it's like my safe space. Like it's my music, so nobody can really touch me and like tell me what to say and what not to say. And with music, I don't know what it is, but when I feel the beat and it's on, I just get this. I don't get in my zone. Like nobody can really talk to me. It's just me and my phone, and I'm typing out the lyrics. It goes super quickly, and yeah. So I don't really think about, okay, should I say this? Should I not say this? It's just whatever word or whatever sentence comes up in my head, I write it down, and then I record it, and then I'll see after if I want to release it or not. But I don't really think about, okay, should I say this or shouldn't I say this? I try to be honest and tell my side of every story.
Because, well, the album is called 1998, and
Hmm.
I suppose that's the date or the year you were born.
Yeah, it is.
And a lot of the album deals with kind of growing up
Hmm.
and those early years. So when did that become kind of a concept or the idea for where this album was going?
So when I made Lock My Door and I got the burst of inspiration, I made super like 100 songs in 3 months, and one of them was Lock My Door. I had 6 on the Forbidden Fruits EP that I released in June, and then I started working to my album, and I chose like the best 16 songs I made, and I created the album. But the title song 1998 was a song I made. It was about my biological mom. She couldn't really be there in my youth because she was addicted to drugs and couldn't take care of me. And at first, I really was always like super angry about it, and I like, how can you treat your kids this way? How can you beat it like this way? But I don't know her full story, but I know that it wasn't easy for her too. So with 1998, I tried to, even though I don't know like everything of her story, I try to look at her side and just write, really tell the story from her perspective. When I finished that song, I was like, oh wow, this is about about my song, about my mother and her side of the story. And yeah, then it clicked like, okay, I'm writing a lot of songs about my youth because I started on the album. I started singing actually when I just moved out of the foster family, and I had no contact with my foster family anymore. And I was in the like in the final year of the Herman Brood, so it was kind of a lot of pressure. And yeah, I just expressed it in my music. And when I listened back to all the tracks, it was like, okay, this is a real story, and I think this is an album, like all the songs I had. And so 1998 was like, I think that then the realization came like, okay, I'm really making music in a theme right now, because I was making so many songs that I wasn't really thinking about, okay, what are they about, or how is this gonna be one package? But when I made that song, it was like, okay, I think I can do something with this, and there's really a theme and a story to this. And 1998 seemed like the perfect title for that.
Well, a couple of things because well, first of all, obviously you're dealing with something that's very personal and very challenging in a way.
Hmm.
So does writing about it and kind of expressing it through music, or does that help in
Yeah.
any way with understanding those type of things?
Yeah, because like I write really fast and I write the first things that pop up in my head. So it's really things that come out of my like subconscious mind. So when I write my songs and I record it and I listen back to it, then I'm like, okay, so this is what I'm really thinking about, and this is what's bothering me, and this is what I'm maybe happy or sad about that I don't really notice, because it's like really subconscious. And so it's kind of like almost like a therapy. Like you get to hear the things they don't really always think about but are still there, and yeah, that's really a good outlet for me, because for the first time in my life, I was really like, okay, so okay, I live by myself for the first time, got not really people to drop back on. Now I know what I'm dealing with, now I know what my struggles are, now I can work on them. So besides of the musical aspect, like it's nice to have songs and to be working on a project. And it was also like a huge part of my personal development in the like past 1.5 years.
Sure.
And I learned a lot about myself as well.
Because yes, because like you say, it's a very interesting time for you
Mm.
in terms of was it for you somewhat of a liberation, or was it difficult to kind of have that independence all of a sudden?
It was yeah, kind of like a mirror. Like, okay, so now you're gonna run into the things that you're not good at. Now it was confronting, but it was also liberating because I just like I think every kid comes at a point that where you really need to leave the house where you grew up in, and so it was confronting, but I learned so much of it. And if I didn't leave the foster family, I wouldn't have made my album probably, and it wouldn't like sound like this, and I wouldn't be where I am today. And I'm pretty happy with where I am today. So I'm really thankful for everything that happened, but it was still really confronting, and it was pretty. I had some pretty hard times as well, but I've learned so much from it that I wouldn't really want to change anything.
Is there one thing you can share that you've learned, maybe about yourself or just about where you want to go with music?
Mm, yeah, one thing that I really learned is like how bad I really want to do music and how important it is for me and how much fun it is to me. And what I also learned, yeah, like a lot of things. I started to understand myself better because of writing songs and really writing down my thoughts. Because they like all of a sudden my thoughts weren't like only in my head anymore. They were in my phone, in my notes, and in my earpods when I would listen back to the songs. And that was kind of liberating too because now I really was conscious about the things I was dealing with and could work towards a solution for the problems I had. And now that everything is fixed already, but I think I did come a long way in just 1 year time. So yeah.
One last thing about kind of the earlier years, because there's in "Say My Name" there's a line, went a lot of places, but often felt out of place,
Hmm.
which I suppose as somebody who as a foster child,
Yeah.
I can obviously understand that feeling. What's What role did music play in terms of kind of being able to escape some of those thoughts?
Mm,
In terms of feeling a sense of home or a sense
mm.
of.
Yeah, it really is like my safe place. It's my biggest passion. It's my biggest hobby, and yeah, it's something that I use to really develop my talent. And I think that's really like it's really a home feeling. How things are set up now. This is like the way I really like to make music, where you can just go and look at all the memories on my wall and look at my favorite vinyl and yeah, just be in my like little cozy place and doing what I love the most. So it's really yeah, I know it always hits home when I'm making music and when I make a good song. And yeah, it's something that I just really like doing. And that's yeah, that's something that I am really attached to. Like I wanna make music every day. I wake up and I put on a song, or yeah, it's something that's always been with me, and what I learned a lot from, and got a lot of fun memories. Met a lot of cool people through music. So yeah, it's really like the base of my whole life and what I'm doing every day, and what I like doing. So yeah, it's just really important to me, and I really want to keep doing this forever, I think.
Sure. And then with what you said, obviously you're inspired quite a big deal because, well, writing 100 songs
Hmm.
when something like that happens about a year ago.
Yeah.
Musically, because you mentioned kind of trying to figure out which 16 would make the best album, but
Yeah.
was there something that you were looking for musically in terms of
Mm.
certain beats, certain sounds?
Yeah, I was also because I was singing for the first time. I was really like trying to find out what kind of songs I would make and what my voice would fit. So I made like really hard trap music still, but also make like really quiet like and slow acoustic songs, almost ballads. And so I tried to do everything that came my way and just look at what I like doing the most. And I think like right now I know what I really like doing is like the more of the mellow, soulful R&B, hip hop, neo soul type of vibe. but also on the album there are also like two like more trappy songs and one more like dance like song. So it goes a lot of ways, and I really like being yeah, creative with like combining genres together and trying out new stuff and experimenting. So it was really like 1998 is really my journey of like, okay, what I'm singing now, so what can I do with my voice? Like, where can I go? What kind of songs can I make? And it wasn't really like, okay, I have to pick 16, but these were just the songs that fit the most into the story I wanted to tell, and are I think the best songs I made in that period of making 100 songs in the last year. Because not every song on the album is made is out of the 100 songs, but I think more than the half is. So.
And there's one song that kind of, at least musically, sticks out for me, which is, I have to remember the phrase. I think it's Wanna Vibe, that is a very interesting sound.
Yeah.
So where does something like that come from?
Wanna Vibe, I think it's funny. It was like in 2000. Wait, 2000, I think it was the last song I made. I made it on 31st of December in 2017.
Okay.
So it was like, okay, I want to make a fun song just to close off the year. And it was, I'm talking about a lot of bullshit in that song actually. And I don't know, it was like me just having fun. And I'm really the type, like I want to vibe. I don't really like planning all the stuff. I just want to go somewhere and then see what happens, see who I meet. And that's really the way I like to live my life. So that was just like really playful. And yeah, I really had fun making that song. It was a song that I quickly made to like, yeah, I had a pretty good year in 2017. So I was like, okay, let me close this year off in a fun way and just make a fun song. I wanted it to feel like a careless song. So yeah, that's where that came from.
And well, saying that kind of that laid back attitude, but can I assume that you're quite ambitious? You want to take this quite far?
Yeah, I wanted to take it really far, but I also don't want to rush it too much. You know, just want to do it at my pace, and I still work hard because like I never made 100 songs in 3 months. That's something I never did before. You know, that's really like making more than a song a day, and yeah. So I'm really ambitious. Like I like besides music, I also work on my videos by editing and directing it, and work on my artworks. I work on more than just only my music, and it takes up a lot of time. Right now, I'm doing my own management as well, so it's really a lot of tasks. But it's really I do it because I really want to learn, and I like learning, and I like growing, and I like to keep everything authentic. So that's why I like to do a lot of things myself.
And then obviously a good start is by getting included into a playlist by Dr. Dre.
Yeah, that
That
was
always
a really
helps.
good start. Yeah, that it helped a bit for sure.
But do you have certain goals for yourself that you want to accomplish in the next couple of years?
Yeah. Right now, I want to really work towards getting to tour internationally. So going to other countries and play my music there and meet fans over there. I think with Spotify, you can really check out where your listeners are. And a lot of my listeners are in America, in the UK, in Germany, France. So I really want to like start off with maybe tour in Europe and at least get to the point where it is possible for me to tour in Europe. And I like to do like things one step at a time. So at first it was like, okay, I want to do the album and I want to work towards my album and work on my live show. So become more confident when performing live and stuff. And I think that's like the album is out. I did, yeah, quite a lot of shows already and I really grew like every time, every show got better. And now I want to see where I can do this else. Like, can I also maybe go to London for a show or go to Paris? Like, go. That's my next step. Like, really going abroad.
What have you noticed about how people from other countries react to the music that you make?
They're really positive. Like, I get a lot of DMs or comments and messages that say like I love this sound. I didn't really hear something like this before, and I didn't know you were Dutch. That's a lot of things. Yeah, I hear that a lot of times too. So yeah, that's really crazy to me because like sometimes it can go so quickly. Like with Spotify and being in playlists that you like kind of lose track of who listens to your music and who doesn't, and then getting messages from people like I think I got messages from people from Asia or Australia or that listen to your music and say they're a fan. That's crazy because for me, like I've been doing this for a while, but really like Joshua J for me really started like to be serious when I started singing, and that's like 1.5 years ago. So to be at the point where people from all around the world message you and say that they're a fan of your music and they really love what you're doing. That's so crazy because I didn't really expect that when I just started singing to like know what's on my mind and just in my tiny room. Yeah, I didn't really expect to like reach so many people in such a short amount of time. So that's really special to me.
Yeah, it's very good.
Yeah.
One last question. It's still early days, obviously, but because your album has just been released. But I assume that you write constantly. So what
Yeah.
have you noticed about the music that you've been making lately?
Ooh, it's more. I take more time with my album. I start on a song, and then like I think the average amount of time I spend on the song was like an hour and a half or 2 hours,
Okay.
and I wouldn't like touch that song again. So I have one session, and if I manage to get the song done in that one session and it's good enough to release, then I'll release it. If it's not good enough, I won't really touch it again. So it was really I don't know why I did it that way, but that was just I was making so many songs that it was like okay, I make a song, make another song the next day, or make 2 or 3 songs in one day. And right now, like I made music yesterday. I'm really like, okay, I start a song, then I just freestyle, then I really take my time to listen to the song, then I work on the song again the next day, and it's less pressure because I just dropped it now, so I don't really feel like, okay, now I have to release new music. I just take my time, and now I know what kind of sound I like to make, so it's like easier. It's more like, in a way, like more premeditated. Like at first, I was like, just okay, let me try out this, let me try out a trap song, let me try an R&B song, and now I know what I like to make, and so it's like, yeah, easier. It's just more like a clear path. Okay, I'm gonna do this, and now I'm gonna take my time. I learned from the mistakes I made by making the album and me not taking the time always. Like there's a good side and a bad side to it, and now I'm like really more focused on the details and the structure of the song. And okay, I'm freestyling, but what story am I telling? It's more yeah, it's more about the content and yeah, more crafting. I guess that's the biggest difference.
Okay. Joshua, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you too.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome.